Hi all and welcome back to a new video. Of course, we're continuing on our Christmas previews, and when I did the King George video, I actually recorded it only around 15 minutes ago. So we're still here on the 23rd of December, but we're going to look through the 7 Grade 1 races at the Leopardstown Christmas Festival. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm booked in to be there all 4 days, giving you the live updates. I'm probably going to vlog it as well. So fingers crossed we get a bit of good content and we see some really good horses as it's turning out. Like, it's going to be a cracking 4-day card, seeing the best Irish horses in training. Starting off on Stephen's Day. Stephen's Day is one of the great social days. It's kind of a student's day over here in Ireland, but it's not one of the greatest days from a racing perspective. There's a few alright maiden hurdles. There's this Grade 2 juvenile, but we do have the Grade 1 Racing Post Novice Chase, which has been monopolised by Mullins horses over the years. However, there looks to be a buck in the trend because Mengley Khan is here at 8 to 11. Voix du Rêve, the Mullins horse, is at 3 to 1. Leopardstown 6 to 1. Hardline 10s. And I just can't see past Mengley Khan here. He was my Elliott horse for the 10 horses to follow video I did earlier this season. And I got a few questionable looks for that, because he's obviously a flat-bred horse. He's not bred for chasing. But this horse is an absolute monster. And he destroyed his beginner's chase field at Punchestown. He wasn't beaten much that day. Fair enough. But I just can't see, like, Voix du Rêve is just an exposed horse over hurdles. Like, I know he's taken well to chasing, but he's just not quite up to it, I don't think. And Leopardstown, I think they're in a bit of a rock and a hard place, because there's just... I'm actually surprised they're not going down to Limerick, but obviously they'd probably have to face Get a Bird, because he doesn't stay 3, but I don't think he's quick enough for 2. So I can't see why he's running in this. It's a bit like Death Duty running in it last year. But that being said, the only thing that would have put me off Mengley Khan was if there was a really strong Mullins horse, like a Get a Bird or a Draconian or something like that. But there isn't here. You know, there's Voix du Rêve, who's surely not their best novice chaser, and therefore you gotta be I'm not a big odds-on backer, but you gotta be taking 8 to 11 about Mengley Khan. He's an absolute monster, and I think a certainty on day 1. Moving on to day 2, and we've got another short price favourite in the Paddy Rewards Club, Sugar Paddy Chase. Won over the years by Duvan, by Simply Ned last year. I remember Undersow falling at 2 out a couple of years ago, and Flemenstar ended up winning it from Simply Ned, who will run again. The veteran for Nicky Richards, who's been banging in winners. And Simply Ned, I reckon, will run well here, and perhaps is your each-way play of the lot at 16 to 1. However, you guys want winners, and I don't think Simply Ned will be the winner. At the moment, footpads 11 to 10, Ballyosheen 4s, Great Field 4s, Midden 5, Castle Grace Paddy 9. Now, out of that 5, I reckon 3 are going to run. I think footpad's going to run. I think Ballyosheen will run, and I think Castle Grace Paddy will run. I don't think Min certainly won't run, and I just can't see. Like, McManus is obviously a big owner, but he doesn't have multiple amounts of Grade 1 horses at his disposal, and certainly not multiple 2-mile chasing Grade 1s at his Grade 1 chasers at his disposal, both who run in the exact same style. These tearaway front runners like Ballyosheen and Great Field. If you guaranteed me Great Field was going to run here, I think I would back him, because I'm a big fan of Great Field. Another one in my top 10 horses to follow, but he knuckled on landing at the 2nd at Cork. It was a disappointing reappearance. But Ballyosheen is marked in, like Bulger says he's running, McManus says he's running, and I just can't see them running against each other. And to be honest, I can't also see Great Field running against Footpad. So, therefore, it's really Footpad, Ballyosheen, perhaps Castle Grace Paddy. Castle Grace Paddy got handed the race at Cork, it fell apart. Ballyosheen has been exposed at this level before, and everyone seems to have got their own knickers in a twist, because Footpad had one bad run. So, every horse can have one bad run. He didn't jump well. He's jumped well in the past. I reckon he bounces back to form. And I think on the day, 11 to 1 will be gone, because on the day, Great Field won't be running, and Min won't be running, and then he'll be shorter than 11 to 10. So I'm going to take 11 to 10 at the moment and hope Greatfield doesn't turn up, because he is the fly in the ointment. Then we look over to the Future Champions Novice Hurdle. This is a tricky race. To be honest, I was very surprised that I didn't see Quick Grabham in this race, the winner of the Royal Bond Novice Hurdle at Ferriez. I was there. He was very visually impressive that day. Perhaps wasn't the greatest Grade 1 you're going to see, but I think Quick Grabham has each-way claims for the Supreme, as does the favourite for this, Tornado Flyer at 9 to 4. A really, really exciting bumper horse last year for Willie Mullins, coming third in the champion bumper despite pulling like a train and then winning the Punchestown bumper equivalent. He went back to Punchestown to win his maiden hurdle over 2-4, but you could see just by the way he ran, 2-4 isn't his business. You know, he's too quick for it. He's got so much speed. Ruby Walsh was at pains to keep him in line, and I just think the step to 2 miles, probably a better pace on, will suit him down to a T. And I don't want to keep backing favourites, I understand that, but he's a favourite for a reason, and I just can't see the challengers here. You know, Sancta Simona is probably the main challenger, but I don't think he's been winning that much. I think it's a she actually as well. Triplicate and Aramon were both in that Royal Bond race. And was Commander of Fleet. I don't think they're up to that much. Lone Wolf was an exposed bumper horse. Daily Tiger, I reckon, is your each-way play here at 7 to 1. He won really well on maiden hurdle debut from a good Joseph O'Brien horse. No, it actually wasn't his maiden hurdle debut, but it was maiden hurdle at the start of this year, beating a good Joseph O'Brien horse called Alighted at, I think that was Punchestown as well, and he really battled well that day. No, Mead didn't think he even had him charged up that day, and I was really, really taken by it, because I was on Alighted that day. I thought we had the race, and he just fought back, and Daily Tiger, I think, is an underrated horse here, and 8 to 1 is your each-way play to go beside the favourite, Tornado Flyer, at 9 to 4 in the Future Champions. Then we'll move on to the third day and the squared financial Christmas hurdle Grade 1 over 3 miles. And finally, we're not backing a favourite, because Apple's Jade is a good opportunity, obviously. 10 to 11 at the moment, a little bit of an ease in it. And there seems to be an ease because Benny de Dieu is being backed here. And Benny de Dieu has Apple's Jade held strictly on form from last season. I know last season is last season though. She's in there at 9 to 2. Super Sunday 5, Faugheen 11 to 2, Bapome 20. So it does seem to be between 4 here. And I think all 4 could run here. I don't know about Benny de Dieu, but they do have to run her at some stage, you know, and they've got to run her in some race. And I think it'll be Apple's Jade. I think Super Sunday will run. And I think Faugheen will run, to be honest. I think if he runs here, Super Sunday at 5 to 1 is the play for you. And I tell you why, because he ran Apple's Jade very close in this race last year, when actually the race didn't really suit him because there was an early faller and he was left in front and had to make his own fractions. I don't think that suits him over 3 miles. Perhaps it does over 2 miles. Faugheen's going to bound them out here at 11 to 2, and you know I love Faugheen. I absolutely love Faugheen, and what I do to see him win here, it would be something special. It'd probably be one of the better moments of my horse racing life. But I do struggle to see it. You know, you're taking so many risks with Faugheen, whether he's going to run a good race or not. Apple's Jade is obviously rock solid, but the price would indicate that. And I don't think against these horses it deserves to be that price. She deserves to be that price. The race kind of worked out for her at Fairyhouse, obviously. Super Sunday was not charged up that day. And I just think against Super Sunday, who's run her close over this distance before, and against Benny de Dieu, who has beaten her twice before last year, I wouldn't be taking skimpy odds in that race. We move on to the Savills Chase. What a race this could be. The old Lexus. Road to Respect, your 3 to 1 favourite, presenting Percy 4 to 1, Bells Hill 5, Shattered Love 8, Alboom 10, Kemboy 10, Monolith 10, Annabelle Fly 12, Total Recall 14. I could go on. This is absolutely stunning stacked with great horses. Stacked, I say. And I do struggle to see past Road to Respect here, 3-1, but I'm not sure. I've always been just have that niggly doubt with it, and I couldn't tell you what it's about. Like, I couldn't tell you why, but I just have a niggly doubt. And I do wonder whether he's actually going to do it in a race of this quality. Presenting Percy, I'd be willing to oppose to this time out. I think he's still got a good chance going forward, but it is first time of the season. Bell's Hill never runs his race at Leopardstown. He's got an awful record at Leopardstown. I don't think it suits him. Shattered Love has a squeak. Won the 3 mile grade 1 novice chase last year. Wouldn't be for me though. I think she's a bit exposed, to be honest. I don't think she won a particularly good JLT last year either, of which Kemboy was in behind her that year in the JLT, so I can't back him. So therefore we've got the other RSA horses from last year, and we've got our friend Monolith. We're lobbed on for the Ryanair, and I think at 10-1 here, Monolith has a good chance each way if he runs. I don't know whether the plan is to run or not, but I do like Monolith, and I do think he has a sniff here. I really do. So Bromhead's horses in absolutely wonderful form. Banged in a treble at Thurles yesterday. He ran a pretty good race on seasonal debut. A little bit disappointing, but against Snow Falcon, who was a race-fit rival, he wasn't. And he kind of just blew up after 2 out. I suppose he does race keenly, and therefore, is 3 miles really his bag? I don't know, but I'm willing to take a chance. He's such a good jumper on his day, and to get into a rhythm out in front and perhaps string some of these out to dry at 10-1. And I'm going to take a little risk. This is a bit of a Blair White smattering of each way. If he runs again, very hard to know whether they'll actually turn him up or not. But Disco at 25-1, an absolutely amazing horse, I think. I think he's an absolutely wonderful horse, but just been plagued with injuries throughout his life. But if he was to ever get back to what he was, he is a grade 1 winner in open company, waiting to happen. Moving on to the final day, and we'll quickly run through the Neville Hotels Novice Chase. 3 miles, won by some good horses down the pass. And Delta Work here is your strong favourite, and I can't see by him. I'm sorry, I'd love to tell you otherwise, but I just don't see it, you know. I think his main challenger is Chris's Dream. Chris's Dream is a good horse, but he's not a great horse. I think Delta Work wins this. I think you have to take odds on. I think he probably is odds on 4-5. But I think he's not a certainty, obviously. There's no certainties in 3 mile novice chases. But I think he's a good chance of winning. We move on to the Ryanair hurdle here. This could be another dinger here. Sam Crow leading the market 6-4. Sharjah 5-2. Melon 4s. Super Sunday 10s. Hopefully, Super Sunday, don't run in it. Run in the 3 miles. I've backed you for that. Bedrock 12s, Lorena 12s, Apples Jade 16s, Limini 20s, and the rest. Sam Crow here. I said it in my Fighting Fifth hurdle preview, you know. Sometimes you just have to go down with the sword. I've backed him for the champion hurdle at 8s. I think he's still 8s now. He went down temporarily to 5s and 6s. I don't see why Sharjah's 5-2 here, to be honest, unless Mellon doesn't run, which is, I suppose, a possibility. But if Mellon runs and Sharjah runs, surely Mellon's the better option for Mullins. You know, he's within a half length of Bouverdere on champion hurdle form. Sharjah is not. Sharjah won a champion hurdle, or not a champion, a Galway hurdle, and won a below par Fighting Fifth, where everybody came out on the final day. I think Sam Crow's the one to beat here. I think his run against Bouverdere was actually better than people think. I think back on home shores, back against probably slightly lesser horses than Bouverdere, 6-4 is your bet here. And I think each way, if he rocks up, Bedrock at 12-1, Sam Crow's accomplice at Down Royal. Anyway, that's the end of this video. 7 Grade 1 races over Leopardstown. I can't wait for the festival. I hope you can too. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And tell me, who's your Christmas banker? Best of luck.